Good morning. Good morning. For those of you who pay any attention to your order of service, I'm obviously not Gretchen Wilkes. She and her husband Steve are not feeling well this weekend, but I checked in with them this morning and they're getting better. So, my name is Janet Titus, and I've played various roles around here. You'll learn about my latest one at the special announcement at the end of the service. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that values freedom in religious thought and journey. We uphold the unity of our interconnections to each other and to all of life, and to the precious universe of which we are a part. We affirm the universality of love and hope as we journey together in community. And we welcome you, whoever you are at this moment, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey. For those of you joining us online, welcome. We're very excited that you're able to dial into our service this morning. If you're new, please check out our website, which is uufayetteville.org, for more information. For those of you visiting for the first time, you'll find a visitor information card in the back of the seat ahead of you. And we love it if you fill that out. This gives us your email so you can get our once a week only emailed that tells you what's going on. And then later in the service, we'll have Joys and Concerns. That's the gold card. If there's anything in your heart or on your mind that's weighing heavily or that you're excited about, please fill that out. Do mark whether it needs to be held in confidence by leadership or whether you would like it shared with the community. And those of you online can do that by putting your comments in the chat, but there's no way we can make that private. If you have need of hearing assistance, our wonderful AV tech David can help you out with that. We love having children in our service. Their voices remind us that we are vibrant and growing. But as a parent, I know sometimes we like to have a little time for ourselves, and so we do have a staffed nursery downstairs if you prefer. And don't forget to silence those cell phones, because that can be very annoying. So please join us now in our chalice lighting as we enter the more sacred part of our service. Love is the spirit of this community, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and truth, and to help one another Thus do we covenant together.
Thank you so much, Janet. Dear ones, good morning. Good morning. Happy December. I am really glad to be here with you today, and I welcome the beginning of our winter holiday services. I walked into preparation for today's service with questions. Human beings are all the same species, right? Right. We're all the same kind of animal. Leaving out nationality, politics, religious beliefs, all of that, leaving all of that aside, just going back to biology, every person on the earth is the same species. Okay, right, got it. Next, every animal, every single one, reacts somehow to the cold and the dark months, including humans, including our pets. I mean, other animals migrate. I mean, some humans do too. Some animals hibernate, or they have behavioral or physical adaptations like growing thicker fur, changing color, storing food, altering their routines to find resources. Well, we humans are absolutely no different. We shed the least amount of hair in winter. The University of Rochester Medical School talks about the 1 to 2 pound weight gain that most humans have when the days are shortest and coldest in our hemisphere. We have to work really hard to keep that from happening. As a species, we tend to eat foods higher in fat during the coldest, darkest times. That's not an accident. Right now, during our current political climate, during this extremely polarized religious climate, there's a very us and them feeling. And I know that I don't have to tell you that division like that weakens us. It weakens us. And it's very intentional by people currently in power. We are weakened by division, and those in power gobble up more. And while I do not know the exact solution, what I do know is that unity is the best way forward. Today's service will have humorous moments, even a few wacky moments. But what I want you to know is that unity is at the core of today's service. Unity is the central theme. We are all just human animals finding our way through the most challenging, cold, dark days. And one of the biggest ways that we try to find our way is through holidays and a focus on light. Ever since the beginning of history, seriously, the very beginning of history, we humans have focused on light in the wintertime. This focus on light is primarily due to our biological responses to reduced daylight. Combating the winter blues, which often manifest for us as low mood, low energy, because less sunlight disrupts our circadian rhythms and serotonin melatonin balance. This is why we decorate with lights. This is why we focus on lights. And these days, this is why we use those big weird boxes that are like big light boxes that mimic sunshine and that regular. I'm not throwing shade at those. They throw their own shade. Thank you. I made that up. Okay. Okay. And so this isn't new. This isn't new. Our ancestors also did this, albeit it was more dangerous because it was candles and open flames. But the need for it was so great, it happened anyway, dangerous or not. The oldest human celebration or holiday is winter solstice. We have evidence from 13,000 years ago of humans marking the solstice. I'm about to play a little video. It's Newgrange in Ireland. This structure and history is 5,000 years old. And I'm playing you this video instead of taking you all the way down the human solstice rabbit hole that I went down this week.
Out of the mists of the Stone Age, this structure has stood since the dawn of recorded history. This rounded tomb, called Newgrange, has stood on the bend of Ireland's River Boyne for more than 5,000 years. It is massive, distinct, and very mysterious. The mound of earth covers a rock passageway, which leads to a central chamber where the ashes and bones of the dead were placed. Long thought to be just a tomb, in the late 1960s, archaeologists uncovered an amazing secret that shed new light on this ancient structure. On the winter solstice, the longest night and shortest day of the year, a shaft of light enters a perfectly positioned window and lights up the 60-foot corridor that leads to the basin of ancestral bones. An impressive feat of engineering, considering its Stone Age builders possessed only rudimentary technologies.
Is particularly important because it's been proven without doubt that it was very deliberately aligned to sunrise at the winter solstice.
Its facade is of white quartz, restored by archaeologists who believe the mound was originally covered in a smooth stone that reflected the light. The massive stones in the interior were perhaps pulled from the river. The builders probably moved the boulders into position by rolling them on logs. Archaeologists believe it took decades to construct Newgrange. And since life expectancy was short, only about 40 years, the project likely was handed down from generation to the next. Little is known about the Neolithic farming community that created this structure. Why they built it is still a mystery. Perhaps the mound was a place of worship. Historians admit they just don't know.
We know they were used as burial places, but we also think they would have been used as places for ritual gatherings, where a focus for community gatherings, place to honour the ancestors.
For more than 5,000 years, Newgrange has captured the rising sun of the winter solstice. It's a lasting monument to human ingenuity and to a desire as old as mankind. Even then, people strove to understand great forces of nature and to harness them, even if only for a brief moment in time.
Light. That light, that sunstream, that was important. And it wasn't just important to these Neolithic farmers who had migrated from the Middle East or Eastern Europe. Light is important to us as an animal species. Shab-e-Yalda is an ancient Persian festival celebrating the winter solstice, with roots going back 7,000 years, marking the birth and triumph of the sun. It involves pomegranates and always candles. The Dongji Festival in China celebrates the winter solstice with foods that look like the sun and bring the warmth. It's all centered around yin and yang, and that the idea that darkness is at its peak and positivity, yang, will grow, often involving candle lighting and always lanterns to welcome brighter days. Those lanterns, though. Of course, there's Saturnalia in Rome and Yule for the Germanic and Norse folks, having everything to do with light and candles and marking the winter solstice. This is, of course, a Yule log. Wow, there's really something important about this shortest day, isn't there? to cultures everywhere. All of us, the whole species. And then there's St. Lucy's Day, or Lucia Day. St. Lucia Day is an ancient Christian feast day that is celebrated on December 13th, especially in Scandinavia and parts of Europe, that honors the patron saint of light by bringing light to the darkest time. With candlelit processions, white-robed girls, saffron buns. Saffron buns, of course, they're yellow. They look like the sun. And songs marking the start of Christmas and commemorating the martyr, Lucia of Syracuse. There she is. There is a main song from St. Lucia Day, and Brenda and I will do that for you. And it is sung often in Sweden and often in Italy. I'm going to sing it for you in Italian because Swedish is hard. We'll just go one time. Yeah. I should have just let you stay standing because we're about to sing a hymn. Thank you. That's very kind of you. You recognize it, right? You recognize that song, right? It's a very, very famous folk song. We think of it as a Western European folk song, but it's really special, and it's all about the light. Bringing back the light, doing stuff with light, lighty McLight. It's all about the light this time of year. So I would be remiss if I didn't also bring up Hanukkah. It is called the Feast of Lights. Ooh, I'm shaking. Okay. Whew. Every day of the 8 days of Hanukkah, another candle is lit. It celebrates light over darkness and religious freedom. I understand that there is perhaps some irony therein. There is for me with the challenge to keep politics out of this. That's for another service. Most Jewish folks are all about religious freedom. So there's that. The history of Hanukkah, it commemorates the Maccabees' victory over Greek and Syrian oppressors in the 2nd century BCE. And the miracle, here's the miracle part, is that a single day's worth of oil, you know, oil lamps, you could measure how much light you were going to have by how much oil was in the lamps, right? And the miracle of a single day's worth of oil miraculously burning for 8 days in the temple. Hanukkah means dedication in Hebrew, and this references the temple's dedication. The menorah is a 9-branched candelabrum where one candle, the shamash, lights the others with one candle added each night. And the foods that are eaten at Hanukkah are traditionally fried in oil to commemorate the oil miracle. Latkes and souvenir, the jelly donuts. So let's let our first hymn today be a lively, historic Hanukkah tune. Rise as you are willing and able, and let's sing together hymn number 221, Light One Candle. Okay, so right on it. Light, ready, here we go. Light one candle for the Maccabee children, with things that their life did undying. Light one candle for the pain they endured, when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain that we've learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger won't tear us apart. And light one candle to bring us together with peace at the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. We'll pause there. Thank you. You may be seated. Good singing. The church is not a place. It's a people. The church is not only a building above the tree-lined streets and cars. Rather, it is a people proclaiming to the world that we are here for the work of healing and the work of justice. This fellowship is not walls built stone upon stone, timber upon timber, held together by mortar and nails, but rather person linked with person linked with person. All ages, all genders, all abilities. A community built on the foundation of reason, faith, and love. This fellowship is not just a set of doors open on a Sunday morning, but the commitment day after day, moment after moment of our hearts cracking open the doors of welcome to the possibility of new experience and a radical welcome. The church is not simply a building, walls, pews, chairs. The church is the gathering together of the people and experiences and fear and love and hope in our resilient hearts. Gathering however we can to say to the world, welcome. Come in. Lay down your heartache. Pick up some hope and love. For the church is us. It's us. Every single one of us together. A beacon of hope to this world that sorely needs it. Okay, if you have filled out a yellow joys and concerns card, you may bring it up and pick up a stone in the bowl that Janet will have, and you can offer me your yellow joys and concerns card. Brenda, will you play for us? Okay, you may come forward. David, are there any joys and concerns from Facebook this morning? Not today. Okay. Janet, let's drop a few stones for the joys, sorrows we still hold in our hearts, because not everything can be shared. And also a few more for what we might run into this week before we get to come back together again. Thank you, that's a little meditation now. Let's take these words into our heads and our hearts as we pray or get quiet, each in our own way. Spirit of life, who draws us together in a web of holy relationships, make your presence known with us and in us and among us. Remind us that we are not alone in history. Ignite us with the courage of the living tradition. Remind us that we are not alone in entering the future. Anchor us with patience and perseverance. Remind us that we are not alone in our times of grief and pain. Comfort us with your Spirit manifest in human hands and voices. Remind us that we are not alone in joy and wonder. Inspire us to honor and extend the beauty we find in this world. Divine music of the universe, let our hearts beat in diverse and harmonious rhythms, cooperating with an everlasting dance of love. May we move with the rhythms of peace. May we move with the rhythms of compassion. May we move with the rhythms of justice. Source of stars and planets and water and land, open our hearts to all our neighbors. Open us to a renewal of faith. Open our hands to join together in the work ahead. So be it. Blessed be. And now I'd like to invite Dallas up for our gratitude moment.
Thank you, Reverend. Our welcome mentions the spiritual journey that each of us took to get here. And to fully express the gratitude I have for this community, I have to start with the beginning of my spiritual journey. About 8 hours south of here, in the self-proclaimed buggy capital of the world, Church Point, Louisiana, population 4,000 people, is where I started my spiritual journey. It was a religion that I didn't get to choose, but it was one that was very kind to me. And it was very gracious, and it was compassionate. And as long as I looked at the world in a very specific and narrow view, it was very welcoming. I have a lot of fond memories of that. It was a very positive experience for me until I started asking questions that no one in that community wanted to answer. I treated people in ways that I look back on and I regret. I was told I was doing it with the best of intentions because I was trying to save them for something after today, for something in the future. And that could not sit well with me over time. And eventually I left that community and I found myself in a spiritual desert for over a decade, where I was cynical, where I was angry at the people that had instilled in me these beliefs. And I rejected all spiritual communities. All of them must have something wrong with them. They couldn't really be accepting, they really couldn't be open, they really couldn't provide me for what I might have needed at that specific moment. Until the early 2010s, a girlfriend's partner invited me to a UU church. It was in December. It was some type of holiday celebration. I cannot remember the details. But I talked to people that had had spiritual journeys similar to mine. I talked to people that had been in a UU community for their entire lives. And what I found was a great group of people that would let me ask questions and would let me express all of the mixed emotions I'd had around spiritualness and God and a higher power and what that might mean for my life right then at that moment. Didn't stay in that community long, but any time as I traveled, moved around the country for work, when I needed to fill my spiritual bucket, I found a UU community. I found one in Atlanta, I found one in Michigan, I found one in Manhattan. I went where I could find people that would support me in wherever I was at that moment. And when I moved here to Northwest Arkansas, I found another community. And one of the very first services in this building, the speaker shared their top 10 reasons for joining a church that they found from somewhere else. And I would like to share those, well, not all of them. I'll share my top 2. They were, joining a church allows me to be a part of a social circle that I don't get to choose to determine whether or not my spirituality is BS. The second one is, joining a church gives me an opportunity to practice with a small group of people over a long period of time what I want the world to be like. So I'm very grateful for this community. I'm very grateful for all of you. If it's your first time here, if you've been coming here for years, I'm grateful that you can feel safe and welcome in this place, wherever you're at on your spiritual journey. Thank you. And now for their offering. This fellowship is a theologically diverse religious community with membership open to all who are in accordance with our principles, our mission, and our vision. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by democratic process. One of the privileges of our free fellowship tradition is to provide all of these financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. You are now invited to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of this congregation.
Ooh, Dallas gonna make a girl cry. Come on now. Woo! Well, I also brought a top 10. I wanted some joy for us this year. We deserve it. You deserve it. Several of you had mentioned my infamous top 10 strangest holiday custom list, and so I revamped it for you with a little help from Mental Floss to pique your interest and make you laugh and maybe cringe. But this year I added slides. Lucky you. Every year at 3 p.m., on Christmas Eve. This is every single one of these are true. Okay, just so we're clear, every single one of these are true. Every year at 3 p.m. on Christmas Eve, around half of Sweden sits down to watch the 1958 Walt Disney TV special, From All of Us to All of You, known in Swedish, I practiced this, known in Swedish as Kalle Anka kan vana önskar god jul. The title translates to Donald Duck and his friends wish you a Merry Christmas. But really, it's usually known as Kalle Anka. Since 1959, the show has been airing without commercial interruption at the same time every year on December 24th on TV1, Sweden's main public television channel. According to Slate, it's one of the 3 most popular TV events each year, and lines of the cartoon's dialogue have become common Swedish parlance. I'm right in your way, aren't I? Okay. In the Venezuelan capital of Caracas, it is long established tradition to strap on your skates and roll on over to morning Christmas Mass. According to metro.co.uk, legend has it that children go to bed with a piece of string tied to their toes, with the other end dangling out the window. This all seems very dangerous to me. As the skaters glide by early the next morning, they give the strings a tug to let the children know it's time to wake up and put on their skates. Thousands of people, the streets are closed. Thousands of people skate to Mass that morning. Firecrackers accompany the sound of church bells. And when Mass is finished, everyone gathers for food and music and dance. And this has been going on for like hundreds of years, ever since the beginning of roller skates. Christmas... There's so much foreign language in today's service. I had to practice a lot. Christmas isn't widely celebrated in Japan. Only 1% of Japanese people are estimated to be Christian, yet a bucket of KFC Christmas chicken is the popular meal on December 24th. And according to the BBC, 3.6 million families celebrated it this way in 2016. It all began with the 1974 marketing campaign, Kurimasu Niwa Kentucky, which translates into Kentucky for Christmas. According to the Smithsonian, when a group of foreigners couldn't find a Christmas turkey and opted for KFC instead, the company saw it as a fabulous marketing opportunity and advertised its first Christmas meal, chicken and wine, for the equivalent of $10, which Smithsonian notes was pricey for the mid-'70s. Many people order their meals far in advance to avoid lines. Those who forget can wait as long as 2 hours. Would you wait 2 hours for KFC? Kentucky. According to Ukrainian folklore, there was a poor family with a widowed single mother who couldn't afford to decorate their Christmas tree. One night, as they all slept, a wonderful Christmas spider decorated the tree with a beautiful sparkly web, and the rays of the sun touched the web, turning it to silver and gold. And from that day on, the family wanted for nothing. Ukrainian families decorate their trees with glittering spiders and their webs in honor of the tale. Yeah, there's going to be a spider on my tree this year. Okay, for this next one, stay with me. Okay, stay with me on this. This is the truth. Okay, I'm telling you the truth. In the Catalonia region of Spain, the regular figure in the Catalonian nativity scenes is the Cagaganer, and it is the bare-bottomed man with his pants around his knees as he bends over to poo. He typically wears a white shirt and a barretina, a traditional Catalan hat. The Cagaganer is most likely first appeared in nativity scenes in the early 18th century Nativity scenes in the region typically represent pastoral scenes with depictions of rural life. The Kagaganer often appears crouched behind a tree or a building in the corner of the nativity. Kagaganer literally means pooper in Catalan, and no one is certain of his significance. The one theory is that he represents good luck and the wish for a prosperous, healthy new year. Since the pooping could be construed as fertilization of the earth. Another theory, I told you there was some wackiness in today. I warned you at the beginning of the service. Another theory is that he represents the mischief that resides in all of us. Yet another theory, he could merely represent humility and humanity. Everyone poops. Mary Lloyd, or the Gray Mare, is the name given to the ghostly-looking horse figure, often brought door to door. I know that was a hard shift. I wasn't sure how to do that transition, so we're just moving on to Mary Lloyd. Okay. It's a ghostly-looking horse figure brought door to door between Christmas and New Year's Eve in Wales. Typically constructed of a horse skull, a white sheet, and adorned with colorful ribbons and bells, Mary Lloyd is carried around Welsh towns by singing revelers who challenge their neighbors to a battle of wits through poetry. Despite often being associated with Christmas, Mary Lloyd is actually a pre-Christian practice, and some Welsh towns choose instead to parade their horse skulls on other days, such as Halloween or May Day. However, the Christmas season is the most popular time for Mary Lloyd, and the practice often includes wassailing, read boozing. Okay, next. Many of you know this figure. This is the most well-known of our top 10. While well-behaved children in Austria and elsewhere look forward to St. Nicholas rewarding them with presents and sweets, those on the naughty list live in fear of Krampus. Part demon, part goat, Krampus is a bad Santa, devil-like figure with origins in pagan celebrations of the winter solstice. Later, Krampus became part of Christian tradition alongside the celebrating of St. Nick during Krampusnacht, or Krampus Night, right before St. Nicholas's Day. Adults dress up as Krampus, and Krampus might also be seen on a Krampuslauf, literally a Krampus run. He also appears on Christmas cards throughout Austria and enjoys a long-held place in the country's holiday traditions, as well as other German-speaking areas near the Alps. Here comes my favorite. Iceland has its own frightening Christmas figure, the Yule Cat, which lurks in the snow and waits to devour anyone who has not received, get this, okay, you know what, let me back up. In Iceland, employers give their employees clothes and shoes. They give their people clothes and shoes, and this is like required. Because if you're not wearing new clothes and new shoes at Christmas, the Yule Cat's going to eat you up. This is a way to encourage, I don't like the word lazy, but what they say basically is that the Yule Cat punishes lazy people by eating them. And so it encourages people to work. But I do love the Yule Cat. Mm-hmm. Like Austria's Krampus, Italy's Christmas witch, Befana, is scary looking. She's got those kind of awful, stereotypical warts and sharp nose. But every January 5th, she leaves gifts and sweets for good children. And of course, she leaves coal for the naughty ones. And according to legend, so awful. Some of these are just awful. According to legend, she swoops up the particularly bad children and brings them home to her child-eating husband. Whoa. Christmas dinner. Anyway, okay. According to Vice, Italy honors Befana with festivals each year, complete with market stalls, raffles, games, and prizes. And children write letters to Befana just like they do to Santa Claus. Lastly, number 10. Oh, sweet, right? It's sweet compared to the rest of it. In Norway, people hide their brooms at Christmas. It's a tradition based on the superstition that witches and evil spirits come out. As a witch, I feel like a little not sane in this, but by hiding brooms and brushes, families believe they can prevent these mythical figures from causing mischief and ensure they can't fly around on them. This tradition is rooted in folklore, particularly the belief in the wild hunt, a procession of mythical beings that includes witches and spirits. Okay. Yay, holiday traditions. Yay! I will be interested to know which of these that you bring into your family's holiday time. Let's stand as you are willing and able and sing Let Christmas Come. This is my favorite UU Christmas song. Number 224.
So, fittingly, we end our service with extinguishing our light here, but as the words say, we don't let it really go out. So if you would join with me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. So, as you all know, we're having our congregational meeting next Sunday, and we really need you all to be here for that so we have a quorum. One of the things we're going to do is vote on the ordination of our wonderful Renee Jansky. So the board has designated a committee to manage this. Gretchen and I are co-chairing that, and I just want to introduce you to the other members of the community. So John Johnson, if you guys would just stand so everybody can see you. Jean Van Zandt, and then Kate Kowalski will be joining us after the first of the year when she completes her presidency of the board. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of background so that you know what this is all about. And this went out in a letter with a special email that came out this week, so I apologize if it's redundant. The decision to ordain a minister is a significant moment in the life of any UU congregation. 1 year ago, we as a congregation made a meaningful decision. At that time, Renee had been serving us in a variety of capacities over the previous 18 years. Before coming to UUFF, she served for 10 years as a children and youth minister in the Presbyterian Church USA, completed a chaplaincy internship, and obtained 1,800 hours of training in Buddhist meditation. While serving as our music minister, she worked closely with the Chalice team and began to present Sunday services that were well received. When the need arose in September of 2023, we were grateful that she was willing to step into the associate ministry position while continuing her music leadership role. In December of 2024, we as a congregation voted overwhelmingly to appoint her as our full-time lead minister. Such a decision is usually followed by a ceremony of ordination and installation. In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, authority to ordain a minister rests squarely with the congregation, and the decision to ordain someone represents the congregation's faith in and support for their call to ministry, the person's call to ministry. The installation service formally celebrates the covenantal relationship between a minister and the congregation that has called them. There are multiple paths to selecting a settled parish minister. One is the search process for a fellowshipped minister through the UUA. Another is led by the local congregation, who are free then to select from a wider range of candidates. It is explicitly stated in UUA polity that the, quote, honor of ordination is bestowed by the local congregation, end quote. Every congregation then has the right to ordain the candidate of their choice. And this latter option is really becoming more and more common, especially in smaller congregations. So we hope, the committee and I, that you will join us in confirming Renee's call to ministry at UUFF by voting next week to ordain her as our minister. And I and the other members of the committee will be around after the service to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Janet. I truly hope that this service brought you some joy today, as well as new information. So as we move into this cold, dark season, know that all of us, all of we human animals, are doing our best. We are all looking for and celebrating the light. And dear ones, the secret is you are the light. Your big hearts shine so brightly, and you light up the whole room with your goodness. And I can't wait till next week. Know that you are loved. I love you. Thank you.